The level of insecurity in Nigeria is taking another toll. See how this headline captured it. Breaking: ISWAP storms Nigerian army camp in Adamawa, kills 2 soldiers, burns vehicles. The Nigerian military keeps suffering, a huge setback from the hands of these terrorists. Now, see how Bryant, if you know Bryant, the guy on the Twitter space who covers news around ISWAP and the activities of Boko Haram and the rest of them. Now, see how he tweeted. He said ISWAP released additional images of attack against Garahumojili camp of the Nigerian army yesterday in Adamawa State, northeast Nigeria. The Nigerian army has not published a statement on the attack yet. Can you imagine? These guys, they dead the Nigerian army and they silence everywhere. Now, see this headline here. It says ISWAP attacked the Garahumojili camp in the Nigerian army in Adamawa State yesterday, reportedly killing 2 soldiers in a 20-minute battle, burning down camp alone with 3 vehicles. The terrorists also allegedly captured weapons and ammunition. So, guys, in the last 1 to 2 weeks, ISWAP, this is a 3rd camp being bombed or being captured or being destroyed by ISWAP, and there are reports. Last time we had 4 soldiers were killed. This time 2 soldiers killed and the rest of it. And this guy went ahead to say ISWAP also stated that this attack comes as part of the recently launched Burn the Camp offensive. This is the first time ISWAP attacked a Nigerian military camp in Borno State, as far as I can remember, in Borno State. So, sorry, in Adamawa State. This is the first in Adamawa. The ones that happened last week, they were all in Borno State. This one is coming in Adamawa State. This is the first time. Adamawa State is not far from, when you think of Taraba, then you start coming down to Benue, Plateau. Guys, these guys are almost close to the south. I mean, ISWAP and Boko Haram are no longer far from us, and Tinubu is just focused on 2027 election. I mean, you see, the Nigerian military has not reacted to this attack. Last week, we had 4 soldiers were killed when they raided 2 different camps in Borno State. So, guys, how are we going to continue with this? Now, currently, there's protests in Enugu State. They said Fulani terrorists were busy killing them. They were calling on the governor. They were also told that 2 trucks loaded with Fulanis were, intercepted somewhere in Imo State. They don't know where they are going to. So, guys, the way insecurity is, holding this country captive is what one cannot really explain. And the leadership is doing little to nothing, in arresting the situation. Anyway, I don't know what you make of this. Let me allow you to take a look at this video and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more. Now take a look.
Should the terrorists be threatening Nigeria? Were you not here when they wrote letter and told me that even at National Assembly now they are threatening that place? They are threatening a whole National Assembly. Please, let nobody celebrate mediocrity here. Tell me one terrorist that go to America and come back alive. Tell one terrorist. But here, you are living and eating and dining with terrorists every day. The federal government send the emissaries to a terrorist called Toju Bello. And Nigeria didn't see anything wrong with that. You are telling me that here and there, this and that. Go to that place now. Those terrorists are still lying in the bush there, waiting for bidding their time. And you are telling me that insecurity. Insecurity where? Where is it? Tell me where? Where did they solve the problem? Look at what happened. When they even managed to arrest some of the terrorists, what happened? They are brought back into the system. Nobody is talking about that. Nobody is asking questions. Every time, reshuffle. You want to bring military chiefs to help and threaten the one you brought before. What happened? That's the question. What happened? Look at the generals that this thing has cost us. Trained manpower that we did not use their experience, nothing. They just asked them to go because their juniors were appointed. Their juniors were appointed and they had to leave the force. And you are telling me this and that. Which experience? You mean the other one that left, they didn't have experience, Abi? Of course, Akpabio will find something to tell us. He will find something to tell us. Some of the military men are even angry with the political leadership. You ask me why. You mean they are happy that the people they managed to arrest, I mean those who battled with them in the battlefield, and they managed to subdue them and capture them. Then later the political leadership now say they should be integrated into the military and into the society. Is that part of lack of political will? Of course. So what would you rather, the presidency or the political class? Don't take prisoners. Okay. Mr. Okoro, don't take prisoners. With such people, don't take prisoners. Yes, they should be given that order. Search and destroy. Whether they surrender or not, search and destroy. That is the direct order. That is what should be done. Search and destroy. And if I see any terrorist activities anywhere in this country in the next 6 months, you will just resign. Don't even let me sack you. Let him give that order. Mr. Okoro.
Yes, sir.
Even if they lie, let them change the service chiefs 4 times in a month. It will not solve this problem because the political will is not there. It is only when somebody now display political will that I will not take them serious. Please, is this the first time they are changing service chiefs from Buhari to Tinubu? Is this the first time? What happened to all those ones you changed? When they were appointed, did we not celebrate it and say, yes, this is a square peg in a square hole, round peg in a round hole? At the end of the day, what happened? So, you know, I am getting wary of all these changes because it costs us a lot. Just last 2 weeks, there was a report that 500 generals have been, ejected out of the military. Because of these changes you are talking about. Each time they appoint new service chiefs, look at the people that leaves the military and all that. Is that a good compliment? No, tell me. If this thing is going to cost us so much in terms of manpower, then why are you doing it? The military is not the problem. It is the willpower from the political class. The willpower is not there. Unfortunately, this military, they don't even have the guts to challenge the political leadership whom they take orders from. It's very unfortunate. The man who had the guts to even try it once was the Bafra, the man that took over from Brotai. He was very blunt. Up to the National Assembly, he blasted them and walked out of them. When they were trying to interrogate, the man called him and said, come, I just entered office. Why not call Brotai and ask him? He was there with you for all this while. You didn't call him, you didn't ask him. Why are you disturbing me? He walked out. For the first time, a general stood his ground. Of course, you know how the man ended up. So it is the political will that is the problem here. The military should insist. Not all these changes every time, every now and then. It has not helped.
Nigerians have complained largely about repentant, and I use that very loosely, and putting it in quote now, repentant terrorists who have been de-radicalized and reintegrated into the system, and having them, into the society and the army. Now, remember one time the NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, complained about sabotage within the ranks of the military, how some military officials steal weapons and supply terrorists. But now, government seems to be going deeper into that ideology that we could beef up the ranks of the military by bringing in these repentant terrorists. Help us with a possible ideology of how this can work. What is the mind behind the possibility or the workability of this action? Is this going to be, or wouldn't this be detrimental to the fight against terrorism in Nigeria? What are your thoughts, really?
Personally, I think this is uncalled for. It is the wrong approach in terms of how intense Nigerian security architecture is at the moment. A leopard, they say, never changes the sport. A baby leopard is still a leopard, and it carries the sport that the adult leopard carries on their body. Having said that, it is disheartening and worrisome to see that our government have started to incorporate this repentant so-called bandit into our security architecture. The best thing you could do is to have them give you a template of their operational activities, who are their leaders, who are their suppliers of funds and ammunitions, how do they travel weaponry from one section or one region to another region, and act upon this. But putting them into the military to work side by side is dangerous and disastrous. And I support also the son of the army officers that they feel unsafe working with these men in the battlefield.
Does it seem like
because at any point in time they can be ambushed, and all battalions taken off? And what happens? Their families, their wives become widows. We also begin to lament that troops have been ambushed and been killed by terrorists, and nothing happens. We must change our formation. When a coach uses the same players to go for competitions, and it's not winning a trophy, it's not winning any the matches, it changes the tactics, also changes the players. You can't bring this person because you say that, okay, how do they justify the word repentant? The Nigerian government must define for Nigerians what they mean by it. One who has carried ammunition, who has fought our sovereignty, who has put people in pain and agony, just coming back after about 6 months or 3 months probation course they put them. I don't know how they were able to stereotype them and say they have repented.
Now, Mr. Kelvin, let me ask you this question. You know, how do you feel? Because before this particular time, the military have been denying reintegrating or using these persons, to work with the military. We can recall when there was an issue somewhere in Enugu State. We're told that no, the man wasn't a former Boko Haram terrorist member. He was just someone, the whole lot of things that actually been happening around that. And up until this particular time, apart from the soldiers now coming up to tell Nigerians boldly that this actually have been happening, the military have been denying this to this particular time. Now, how do you actually feel about this, about the fact that people who have actually played within the Nigerian military are also soliciting or calling that we should give terrorists amnesty?
I think we cannot give them amnesty. If the terrorists are saying, okay, they want to lay down their arms and become worthy ambassadors and good Nigerians, we can say, okay, that is fine. Now we take them out and let our intelligence work on their psychic. They should tell the military their formations, how they move their ammunitions, how they recruit persons into their fold, and we dislodge them. In a circle, that's how you work. You gather intelligence, act upon them, and you do your job, and we get results. We are tired of blame games. Today, we blame the past administration for our woes and our failures. Tomorrow, the next one come and blame the past administration for woes and failures. But you told us you are equal to the task. Nigerians are tired. We want results. Our mothers cannot go to their farms anymore. Our fathers cannot access their farms anymore. And you are bringing the same people that considered woes to them to say they should go to battlefield together. I, for one, I rather resign from the military than go to battlefield with a repentant terrorist by my side.
All right then. More resignation.
Keeping the watch for me. Tell me, okay, advance. Then I advance at my own peril.
All right then.
Why do I tell me that? Okay, let's go left, and I go left, and we're ambushed. And what happens to me?
All right. Thank you very much. Kelvin. Now let's bring it to the studio. Barrister.
Yes.
Help us make sense of this.
There is no sense in it.
Is it because we are short of personnel?
No.
Would this be the only way to get those willing to go to the war front, those willing to fight? Is this the only way to get to increase the number of personnel that we have?
When things like this happen, you begin to ask yourself, what is the end game here? Is it actually fighting terrorists or human sacrifice? Because it doesn't add up, seriously. Look, if the military does not resist this thing and confront the government, it will not end though. Except they want to be used as a cannon fodder in the battlefield.
When you say human sacrifice,
yes, because that's what they're looking for. How do you bring a terrorist to go and work with your military? And every day we are hearing of ambush. We are hearing even in the barracks. So who is giving the intel? Who is providing the logistics? If not these terrorists we brought into the military.
Marissa, does it seem like we are willing to combat terrorism? Because just the other day, Interpol was in Nigeria and they arrested 11 individuals. They've been doing that raid across Africa from Angola to
Those
South
sponsor
Sudan
terrorism,
and the
yeah.
rest. Yes, sponsors of terrorism.
yeah.
And from Nigeria, they picked 11. 11 individuals. Now, these individuals, what is it that our government don't know these people? Couldn't we have arrested these people if there was a will to do so?
You know, when this thing happened, I was laughing. I said, look at it. How do you embarrass yourself as a government? That people that are working under your nose, a foreigner had to come and they tell you, this is the sponsor, this is the terrorist. And they pick them. In your presence, they pick them. Look, but let us not dispute ourselves. There is something wrong with governance in Nigeria. Seriously, this thing we are doing here is
wrong
a joke.
with governance in Nigeria?
I'm telling you, we don't have leadership. Seriously, if we have, this thing cannot happen. Imagine a foreigner going to the US to go and pick a terrorist operating in their soil. Can you ever think of such a thing happening? But it's happening here. Yet somebody is telling us that they want to provide a paradise for me. Eh? You can imagine. This thing has become a very big joke.
Okay.
Our soldiers must wake up, seriously, or else they will be decimated, because that's what we're looking at.
Okay, now Barrister, talking about decimating our soldiers, I would like to tie my question with what Moses said. Moses asked, are we in short of troops?
We are not.
You know, I asked that question in the light of the fact that between 2015 and 2025, this year, last week, as a matter of fact, Nigeria has Nigeria retired over 500 army generals.
Yes,
From brigadier general to major general to higher ranks. Exactly. Why? Because any time you do a reshuffle of service chiefs and you bring up somebody. Because of the command structure, hierarchy, that is required in the military, a lot of people have to go. In 2015, when Buratai and Co were removed, about 100 generals had to go with them. Now, in the light of all of this, I still want us to interrogate, our sincerity, intentionality of our government, the security architecture in trying to fight insurgency. We are very deep in insurgency, and we are doing all this rejigging. Like I said, in the past 10 years, about 500 generals trained with taxpayer money, have been moved out of service. And now we are looking for ragtag implemented terrorists to go help us fight insurgents. Barrister, are we very intentional? Well, what do you think? Because a lot of people have also said, look, the government has a hand in the terrorism, in the insurgency that we are facing. Can you help us make sense of all of this? Is it that the government doesn't know what they are doing or that they are overwhelmed?
In fact, it is almost both of them, because a government that wants to win this war, they will not be doing what they are doing. Because these generals, with their knowledge, with their training, they are supposed to help in fighting these people. How do you now, shove them out of the military prematurely? And then Boko Haram will now recruit them and they are helping them. Of course, they are still active. So if those people you rejected, some people are using them.
No, Barrister, when you say Boko Haram will not recruit them, I don't get it.
Oh, you think they're idle? Why do you think that these guys are doing what they are doing with so much brazenness? It's because they have somebody is training them too. Yes, somebody is training them. Those people that you shove out of the military prematurely, do you think they are happy? They are being used somewhere. That's the truth. If not, how come these people will have the temerity to face our military? It's because they have gotten a lot of training and intel.
But Barrister, why will Boko Haram be able to give them $20,000 a piece? And armored SUVs like the federal government just gave them the other
They take care of them than the Nigerian government. Are you not aware?
I'm not.
They are being taken care of. The sponsors are not joking. They are fully armed with finance. So if not, these people will not continue to be doing what they are doing. They are well provided for.
Okay.
It's on record. They are provided for.
All right.
So don't deceive yourself.
Let me go back to Kelvin now. Kelvin, now we know that there's been some reports of insecurity, people being killed around the nation, everywhere. In fact, it's basically every part of the nation. But if government isn't doing what it should do, what then should the people do to ensure that their lives are secure? What advice would you give to the people?
Go at the Great Chamber that Nigerians should be allowed to carry arms to protect themselves. Because I feel the most painful thing that will happen to any family man is somebody coming to ravage your home and take the life of a family.
Do you think that in itself will not be abused? If individuals are allowed to carry arms, do you think that will not be abused and people will take laws into their hands? Are we in a bind here? Are we stuck?
It will be abused, but I think there must be some processes before such firearms will be released to persons. They must go through maybe a mental test. Some will go through anger management test or training, and those will help. Because at the point we are in now, we do not even trust our security anymore. We do not trust our security anymore because even when you share intelligence, sometimes they are slow to act on intelligence, and before you know it, the deed is done already. We do not prevent issues. We are not proactive. We always, when deed has been done, you see all of them moving the barracks to that place, and you see soldiers everywhere, military, civil defense. Everywhere. We have a national security advisor in this country. He's a police officer of repute. He must put the sticking faculty to work. We are tired of giving us excuses.
So you don't think that this counter-insurgency strategy, being introduced by the security apparatus in Nigeria is going to work in anywhere? Recall they said that they are using these men now as a bait to tell the military where the people who are still in the bushes are, because that was what we're told, that the reason they do this is actually
that's a lie. That's a lie for the pit of hell, and it's a fallacy.
Oh God.
You can put these men in a room filled with experts, have a discreet conversation with them, and they will explain to you. They can videotape it, they can video televise it, they can explain it in their local dialect how the operational modus of operandi is. You don't need to take them to the battlefield to work with our military because it's a jeopardy. Now you're expecting them to even know more strategy about how the military operates. We have different squadrons, we have different operations and different battalions and how they operate. Now, when you put these men to work with our military together in the battlefield, you make them to know more how our military operates. And when they escape tomorrow, they go and tell their colleagues that, okay, this is the information the military have adopted now. What is wrong if we use drones? Rather than using this men tell us the bush they have, we employ drones to launch them into the forest. And your ground intelligence will tell you, okay, when your intelligence gives you a location that this is where they are, your ground intelligence will not move further. Every day I keep wondering, is this Nigerian military that went to Sierra Leone and brought normalcy? Don't the Samadou and Sastelo went to Liberia?
But we're told that they are using some of the people as shield
at that time. And just how many years ago now down the line we are being faced with our internal insecurity, and a sovereign nation cannot fight its sovereignty. The other day, a man was kidnapped in Niger State. The U.S. military flew to Nigeria, rescued the man back to the U.S. Nigeria's intelligence were not aware about it.
Mr. Kiseli, up until today, we are yet to declare, sort of emergency on insecurity in Nigeria. The president went for that to give vote of confidence on the people he appointed, the cabinet members, saying that they are doing what they should do. And, nobody should talk about it. What does this really portend, given the fact that tomorrow Nigerians are still dying? And then some people are talking about this becoming more like genocide. Some are saying it's not genocide, more like some people are saying it's a religious war back and forth, even to the point that a congressman in U.S. is beginning to bring out the notion that Nigeria should be made or re-designate a country of particular concern.
It's worrisome that they people prescribe Nigeria as they blacklisted Nigeria for travel advisory for U.S. citizens and UK citizens, and that doesn't tell well for us at all. Every day we keep going to seek for foreign investors come to your country to invest. How can they invest when you have insecurity? These men just come to TV to tell us what we want to hear, but on the field nothing is being done. I say this with all full confidence that the bandit authorities in Nigeria are more equipped, more funded than the Nigerian military.
Okay. All right,
You see what they carry in Katsina State going for pit stop. They were carrying launchers, heavily hard than even what Nigerian military are carrying.
All right, Mr.
Jumodo, for pit stop have not been apprehended by security operatives. Okay. And we have intelligence, and we have DSS.
Mr. Jumodo, if you say that we have these insurgents, the terrorists and bandits, that they are more equipped, than the Nigerian military, and we have some of them that are repentant, some of them that have repented, and now are on the other side. If we don't want to invade them, with our own soldiers to help us, because we are afraid they might turn saboteurs and kill our soldiers, how best can we utilize the knowledge that they acquired as bandits in the fight against terrorism?
Good. The first thing first is, first of all, change their mindset. Because the first call of service, when they are inducted into a terrorist camp, they tell them that Aram means what's forbidden. They tell them that the Western knowledge and culture is forbidden. They tell them Christianity is forbidden. They tell them anything Western is forbidden. Hence the word comes Boko Haram. Haram means something that's forbidden. Now, in all of this, how do you change a man's orientation? It's work on his cognitive. Put them through series of, let's say, weekly training, monthly training, yearly training, and retraining. And when they are done with this training, the next thing, you put these men in an office and let them just be doing a reportage for you. I'm telling you, at this point, every September, they gather in Borno, for example, to attack. You say, okay, the intelligence to take a record of that. They say, okay, at every Friday, this is where they gather. The man that brings arms from Jigawa or Nasarawa, it comes in through Duse. The man that brings also food for them comes in through Mubi. And when you get all of this, you act on it. You don't need to take this man to the battlefield without attention. It's disastrous, it's dangerous, it's a national threat.
If you trust how do we trust the information they give as being enough, and providing security for our people? If you can't use them in the battlefield, I will keep them in offices and provide this information. How trustworthy are those information?
Intelligence is a two-way traffic.
Okay.
I'm a security expert. When you get intelligence, you run through it. While you run through it, you checkmate the intelligence they're giving to you. You're not going to just go there on Sunday and just attack. No. That's why we have air intelligence, we have ground intelligence. If they tell you, okay, this is intelligence they've gathered, you will now work on your air intelligence and take inventory of that, start to school that every Friday this person brings this thing here. When you carry out your intelligence that cooperative for 3 times they have come through that route, then you know that, okay, this intelligence they're giving to you is true. Then you act on it. Then the 4th one you strike.
But at this point in time,
when tell you that, okay, the arms are kept, for example, in those states that they slot for them to act with. Then you just go there immediately and start attacking. No, you are the ambush. You do your air intelligence and your ground intelligence and also work with locals.
Mr. Calvin, at this point, we don't really have one single, terrorist group to start with, because you just talked about Boko Haram. Then what about the Lakurawa, what about the Mahmuda, and every other one that we know now more like is in Nigeria as a safe haven? And how are we going to be able to do this? Recall that from the mouths of some governors in Nigeria, we're told that they are not even Nigerians, they are foreigners. For example, in Benue State, the governor there, Alea Hyson, said that some of the persons that they caught during interrogation, they found that they're not even Nigerians. And also, the city has also made a statement to that direction. So how do you think we'll be able to, end this whole issue of insecurity once and for all? Because we learned, like the likes of Tar Jubelo is from Niger, he's a Nigerian. And some other persons actually who happens to be kingpin to all these terrorist groups.
Thank you. In Nigeria, we have a very porous border. We have about 200 borders that are porous. We have a border with Cameroon, we have a border with Chad, we have a border with Niger. And some of these borders, they're just like one building apart. That you can stroll in the morning and in the evening you stroll out. First thing first is to get a heavily secured borders. When your borders are secured, then you can secure your territory. Because for one to call a country, you must have sovereignty, population, a government in place, and people. Now when the people are not protected, then there's an issue. I agree that not all of them are Nigerians. Some are from neighboring African countries that they also, the government also brought in during the time of Goodluck Jonathan to say, okay, if it doesn't go south, let chaos take over the day. And they were harmed. These men that were harmed, now you can't retrieve the arms from them anymore. They now see the business as a lucrative business. They kidnap, collect ransom, and they go freely and share the money. And nobody goes after them. We have a CBN governor, we should have an imprint, a tracker in a ransom money being paid, so we can track this poor, but nobody's caring about that. That these people that are doing a lucrative business in Nigerian soil daily, and this money is being spent in Nigerian soil. So the first thing we should do is to invest in.
All right, we think we're having a network glitch there, so we'll bring it back to the studio. Okay, if you can hear me, let's get your thoughts. Continue with the line of thoughts, Mr. Kevin.
So using modern day technology to combat crime is the best way to go. Invest heavily in drones, security drones. Have a well-structured security, and they should be well paid. Our security, our military, they have a low morale. Their morals are low. If a man dies in battlefield, what is the take-home pay? You give him 1 million naira to his family. You give him 5 million naira to his family, and that doesn't tell well. Right. Ensure the life of our military. Then they'll go all out to do the job.
All right then.
Ensure they are welfare, they are well paid, they are well catered for. You see military officers, they are approachees, and they are abandoned to suffer alone with their families. No checkup, no follow-up, no remedy.
All right then.
That's what one that is split into to fight.
Jimudu, who's National Secretary, Human Rights Protection Congress, and also the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Delta State on Human Rights. Thank you very much for your thoughts on this one. Barrister Darlington, what would be your final thoughts on this one? Are we going forward? Are we going backwards?
We are going backwards several times. Several steps backwards, because whatever we gained before now, we have lost all of them. Seriously, our military, I don't even know whether they are still what they used to be, all because of this policy of integration. There's no way anybody will be comfortable and happy working with somebody who was facing you in the battlefield yesterday, and now you and him are dining and whining on the same table. You will not be comfortable. There's no way. So I don't know who brought this idea. In fact, except we remove the sentiment that have gotten into this terrorism fight, it will not go away. All these people that are coming into Nigeria, on whose platform are they coming in here? If not for sentimental reason, why are they coming here? Why are they coming here? It's because of sentiment, nothing else. So rehabilitating this recaptured the terror is because of sentiments. The moment we remove all these sentiments and fight this war the way it should be fought, we get the best result. But as long as we continue in this route, forget about it.
Do you advocate individuals being armed? Because Senator Ned Nwoko pushed for that initially, but
no.
He asked that Nigerians be allowed to carry arms.
No, it's not possible. We are not matured for it. Even America, with their level of sophistication, they are still fighting gun control. So Nigeria, I don't think so. Which kind of arm are you going to carry without abusing it? Okay. It's not possible. We are not mature for all this thing. Look, let them remove sentiment. That is all. The sentiment has gotten into these fights. Yes, my tribe, my ethnicity, my religion. All these are sentiments that